Al, in trying to understand all the components of free will. Action theory is something I've heard about, but I really don't understand. You're an expert on action theory. How does it affect free will?
Okay, well, let me say a bit about what action theory is, and then I'll make the connection. Action theory is based on two fundamental questions that go back to Plato and Aristotle. First, what is an action? And that question is really about how actions differ from non-actions, other kinds of events that aren't actions. And how are actions to be explained, or how are they produced? Human actions, we like to think of, many human actions, not all, that's for sure, as being explained in terms of the reasons for which we do them. And then action theorists have worked out, over the years since Plato and Aristotle, theories about how things like beliefs, desires, intentions, and so on, goals, motives, are involved in the production of behavior, simple behavior and complex behavior. The way I think about free will, it begins with action theory. So first, we want to understand how actions are produced in general across the board, maybe especially human actions, but also animal actions. And then once we understand that pretty well, and of course in philosophy there are going to be lots of different ways of trying to understand it, we can move up to, okay, what about the free actions, if there are any, among that set of actions? What's special about them, and what is special in how they are produced?
When you're talking about an action, that doesn't have to be a literal behavior. The action could be the creation of an emotion or a feeling or an intention, or does it have to be a physical movement?
It doesn't have to be a physical movement. I think there are lots of mental actions. One thing I'm fond of doing just for fun is mental arithmetic. So if I get bored, I'm rarely bored, but sometimes I am, I think, okay, let me throw myself an arithmetic problem, and I'll crank out the solution in my head. Now, if you ask me what is 6 plus 3, I don't have to think. I can just do it. But I give myself complicated ones. I have these routines for doing it. I also think deciding to do a thing is a mental action. I think of it as a momentary mental action of forming an intention to do a thing. Trying to remember, at least the trying part, is an action, but that's mental. Mostly it's mental, right? Trying to drive your memory. So I think of actions, though, as things that can, in principle, be intentional. So if it can't be intentional, it's not an action.
Okay.
And lots of things that happen are like that. Like emotions just pop up. Right. We don't intentionally bring them up normally.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then now draw the connection between the different theories about action theory, the different ways people have postulated, and how one or the other way of thinking about action theory would affect free will one way or the other.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Now, I can't describe all the different theories, but you wouldn't believe how many there are. But so we'll take mine, right? I'm an action theorist, so we'll take mine.
Right.
What I do is sort of work back. So we have an action. It might be my raising my hand to give an example. I think these actions are generated by what I call proximal intentions, an intention to do it now. What generates the intention? I think things like considering reasons, or you could say beliefs and desires, or you could say they're neural correlates. I'm fine with that. So I want to give an example. I believe raising a hand is an easy one to do. That generates the intention generates the action, a motor signal is sent by the intention, there's guidance, and so on. Now, if you think of action in this causal kind of way, then your question about free will is going to be, okay, so how do actions need to be caused if they're going to be free? Now, some people have theories of action generation that aren't causal, or that are sort of contrary to causal. And then if those people want to think about what free will is, they're going to leave causation out. And it's going to turn out to be a very different theory. So I think you settle the action theory first, as much as anything could be settled in philosophy, and then you work your way up to free action.